Flux Radio. We're in the RONAreport. We have Dr. Maat. So say hi to the people.
Oh, peace and power, family. Peace and power.
Wow, I like that. So tell the people what you do in the community so we can talk about how this has affected that.
Okay. So, my name is Dr. Maat. That's my African name. I'm born and raised in Baltimore. I currently teach at Morgan State University. I teach in the electrical and computer engineering department. I teach mandatory classes for freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. I also own a company called Ed Anime Productions. We create educational films or educational material, films, books, unit plans for children. Right now, we have a flagship project called MELTREK. Mel is short for melanin. Trek means journey. So we're taking you on a journey to understand the history, culture, and achievements of melanated people. We have a few films. We're actually working on MELTREK episode 3 right now. So we have a few films. We have a few books, maybe 2 or 3 coloring activity books and also a storybook. And we're currently working on our second storybook right now. So check that out, family. Whenever you get an opportunity, you can go to Google search engine and just type in MELTREK, and all of the links to like our social media and our website should pop up. But that's what I do in the community. And I also lecture, everywhere: Baltimore, New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina. I've been to California a few times. So I'm also on the lecture circuit as well. And I've been honored, been blessed to share the stage with people like Dr. Patricia Newton, who is she's the protege of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So I had the opportunity to share the stage with her. I had the opportunity to share the stage with Dr. Wesley Muhammad and others. And so, I think that...
You're doing some amazing work.
Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you so much.
So how is this pandemic we're in, this chaotic, unbelievable virus that has this outbreak that we're experiencing, how has it affected your everyday professional life?
Oh my gosh. So let me go back to when the university shut down. So the university, they called us into an emergency meeting on March the 11th. I actually got a phone call from a cousin on March the 10th, and her son attends Morgan. And so she received an email that night, and she said, did you hear the president is shutting down the university? And I'm like, what? Wait, So I said, wait a minute, let me check my email. So sure enough, I went and checked my email, and the president did make the call to shut down the university. And so then I was pulled into emergency faculty meetings on March the 11th. So initially they told us that the university would be closed for 2 weeks. And so we didn't sweat it, because the next week, the week of the 16th, was spring break. And so they said we're off for spring break, and the university would be closed also on the week of the 23rd. And so he said we would be back on March the 30th. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, okay, this thing is going to blow over. It's not that big of a deal. The president said, we'll be back on the 30th. So it's not that big of a deal. So then, or maybe less than a week later, he says, hey, we're switching from face-to-face instruction to online instruction. So a lot of us begin to panic, especially the older faculty members, because a lot of them, they're not tech savvy. They're old school, and they use dry eraser boards, and they do know how to email. But most of them, they have handwritten notes. So they go in and they write things on the dry eraser board. And all of the exams, especially for engineering, are hands-on. It's not on the computer. We're building things and testing students' ability to build and to measure things. And so the faculty just panicked, because we're like, how are we going to teach engineering, to our students? Because engineering is really hands-on. Students get the theory. That's easy to teach. But for the most part, engineering is something that you have to do, and
Sure.
something that you have to physically practice. And so we all begin to panic because we didn't know, that was the hurdle. How do you teach engineering to students virtually? Again, we can teach the theory, but what about the practical part? So faculty started panicking literally like the week of the 16th. We started panicking. We started meeting every day for hours on end to figure out how can we redesign an engineering program. and our president wanted us to, when the students came back on the 23rd from spring break, they wanted us to resume instruction like business as usual. So we literally had 1 week or a week and a half to just redesign all of our classes. And I teach four classes at Morgan. And so I had 1 week to now just change everything. All of my notes are now on, PowerPoint. I had to get acclimated to a learning system that we use called Canvas. So I had to learn how to maneuver in Canvas, like how do you create quizzes? How do you create exams? How do you live stream within Canvas? So it was a huge learning curve for the faculty. Our students are extremely anxious right now. I get I have 125 students, and I get bombarded with maybe about 265 emails a day because I have students emailing me. I have colleagues emailing me. I have my direct boss emailing me. And then I get emails from the president, emails from the provost, emails from the dean of the School of Engineering. So it's been very stressful, Queen, to answer your question. I'm stressed. I know our students are stressed. The faculty is stressed because of the switch in the type of instruction. I'm working actually longer hours from home than I was when I was physically commuting, to the university. And so it's definitely been an adjustment, on a business side.
Well, I wonder when I hear that our schools, and because it's not like we're going anywhere. So are we taking time to really implement something that can really be effectual, or are we just trying to do it fast? Should we take some time, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, to implement something that's very effectual? Or will this be a good plan of just fast, and let's flip to online and keep it moving? Can we just do it that quickly?
Queen?
That's the question.
Yes. If I were the president, I think I would have allowed faculty members a longer time, instead of, like you said, bringing them back on the 23rd because they were out on the week of the 16th. So instead of bringing them back on the 23rd, I think that I would have made the call to say, well, let's reopen the university maybe the 1st of April, maybe the second week in April, to give faculty enough time to, like you said, design something that's impactful and effective. Because you got some faculty members that, I'm on a recording, but you got some faculty members, I'll just say that I know their classes aren't being run as proficient as they could be if they would have had enough time. But but me, I had handwritten notes, but I also used a lot of slides, and I use PowerPoint. So the adjustment for me was really learning like Canvas and all of that stuff. But I do agree that I think that, like you said, instead of rushing the kids back in, that we should have just taken some time as a university to really figure this thing out.
And I think all universities, because what we're negating is how people are digesting the pandemic.
That's right.
We're not even, we're just trying to keep regular life in another way.
That's right.
Keep everything normal, but this is not normal.
It's not normal, Queen.
Yeah, and it's the psychosis to create something that's not effectual, just to have it there. Then really step back, give everybody a chance to breathe, because the faculty and the children, students, whomever, are being affected.
Yes, they are.
And I just think we need to be careful about education online, put it together, slam it to the kids, and let's keep it moving. That's not, we're in a life-changing moment, and we have to be careful and give people a chance to digest that, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely, Queen. I couldn't agree with you more. And then students were rushed off campus.
Yeah.
They got maybe a few days notice. Hey, you got to vacate all of, you got to vacate the campus. You got to be off by, Friday at such and such time, and so then you have to think about,
and I can understand that. I can understand that, even though it seems so malicious or it seems really hard, but you got to get people away from each other. And
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's a way to do everything, and it's a way to implement stuff. And we got to be, because we are in this chaotic space. We can't make our implementations chaotic. Also,
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And Queen, I mean, you had, international students, who had to pack up and leave. I'm thinking about students who live out of state. It was easy for the local students, but
true.
yeah, for the international students and for the students who live, for the out of state students, I mean, it was very stressful for them. And then, like you said, and then so you had these students who they had to vacate the premises. Okay, so now they're back home or wherever. And some of these students, Queen, they don't have they don't have any resources at home. You have some students who don't have internet access. Some
Mm-hmm.
students don't own a computer.
Mm.
So that was a challenge,
Yeah.
I'm getting emails from students who said, Doc, to do your assignments, I would usually do them on campus. I would use one of the computers on campus. I don't own a laptop. I don't have internet access. I'm trying to do this stuff from my cell phone. So it's just it's terrible right now, Queen. It's just really terrible.
And we have to look at that. We can't make education now just as chaotic. And it has to be. We got to get a reprieve. We're going through something really life changing. So even in education, everything has to be looked at. And I think
Absolutely.
we got to stop moving from this lens of being normal. This is not normal. We're not going to feel normal. And it might be human to feel this way, so we can change the way that we move and the way that we act and the way that we associate with each other. You know what I mean? Maybe
Absolutely.
something we need. I don't know if we need this ineptitude when it comes to leadership. I'm not saying that. I just think a reset of the human spirit might be something we need a little bit of.
And Queen, what you just said was powerful. You said a reset of the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reset button. Let's focus on what's important. Our family is important. Spending time with, your husband, your wife, being home, cooking more. I know some folks, I have some female friends who still want to eat out, and no, let's cook. We have to cook. We have to cook, Queen. You don't know who's touching your food and who's been, infected with this virus, and you want to keep yourself and your family as safe as possible. So no, Queen, we're not gonna, and this is what I'm telling my sisters, like, no, Queen, we're gonna cook more. So we got to get back to the basics, cooking our food, homeschooling our children. I know that the children have been out. I know that some school systems have sent homework for students, and some school systems haven't. It just depends on what county or city you're in, And so getting back to homeschooling your children, Yeah. So like you said, that reset button.
Yeah, that reset button, and it's like getting humans on path, like back on path. You're a little off path, so let's get you back.
Let's get you back. And I thought about that, Queen, when I was in Costco's. So when they first, I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and so when the governor first announced that, first when they started announcing that schools were going to shut down, people started panicking.
Yep.
People started panicking, and I'm telling you, I mean, people ran to Walmart to get groceries. They ran to Costco's and Walmart, and the lines were wrapped around the corner, Queen. Yep. And I myself, I said, you know what? I said, man, for years, people in the nation and other leaders have said, you're always supposed to have a survival kit in your home. At least have something that'll last you for a month, right? And so I had to leave out, Queen, because I had enough food in the house for my family, maybe to last us about a week and a half. But I said, goodness, if they close everything, we won't have enough supplies to last for a month. So, let me get out here, maybe to Costco's or someplace and just pick up a few things to make sure that, we're okay. And so I get to Costco's, Queen. I'm telling you, the line was wrapped around the corner. People arguing, trying to fight their way into the entrance. And I was just thinking, I said, oh my goodness. I said, if the market's closed and we could not get food, we would literally be SOL, so we got to get back to growing our own food.
A great people is not great without growing their own food.
Yeah, we can't even feed ourselves, Queen.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened to gardening, being able to go outside? Queen, I started reflecting on my childhood. I had an uncle. His name was Eugene Singleton. We called him Uncle Lucky. He was affectionately called Uncle Lucky. And he was my grandmother's brother, my maternal grandmother's brother. And I remember when I was a child, my mom used to send me down to South Carolina, and my mother's sister used to send her daughter down to Sumter County, South Carolina. So as a child, that's where I spent my summers. So I started reflecting on that, and I was, thinking about how he had a chicken coop, he had pigs, he had cows, and so I remember as a kid, I would say, "I want some eggs," and they would say, "Go in the back and get some eggs." And that's when I realized that eggs were brown. Before I thought they were just white, right? And go in the back, see that the eggs are brown, and we would eat, and then the scraps from our table, he would tell us to put them in a scrap bucket, and he would take those scraps out and he would use that to feed the pigs. I remember waking up some mornings, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Uncle Lucky's been out fishing. So if you go to the bathroom, you'll see the tub filled up with water and fish just swimming around in the tub. So this is the type of stuff that I saw when I was a child. He also grew collard greens. We used to have to, I think it's called chive peas. We would sit and peel the peas out. I think it's called, what is it called?
Chuck.
Chuck. That's what it is. Chuck peas. So I would sit.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I would sit with my Uncle Lucky's wife, Aunt Merle Lee, and her eldest daughter, Bertha Lee, and we would sit there and we would chuck the peas, for hours.
Bertha Lee. What you say?
Yeah, Bertha Lee. And so I started, when I was in Costco's, I'm looking around at how we're on shelves grabbing things, and I said, "Oh, we've come a mighty long way, away from the way we were." Can't feed ourselves. I can't go out back and just get eggs, or go out back and just grab some greens and clean them and cook them and boil them down, so we've come a mighty long way, Queen. And I started thinking about that, when I was in Costco's and running to Giants to grab a few things. And so, like you said, Queen, we got to get back to the basics. We have to hit the reset button, as you so eloquently said. We have to hit the reset button.
We do. We definitely do. Well, listen, we're at the part where we lay down our last will and testament. And we always ask to leave something inspirational, leave something to make the people think, to make them go forward as they're in their space right now. So leave that jewel for the folks.
I would say in this pandemic, to arm yourself with correct information. There's a lot of misinformation out there. When people first started hearing about COVID-19, there were a lot of us saying that you can't catch it. We have melanin. We're melanated people. We can't catch the virus. You have brothers online saying things like, all you have to do is just eat herbs and fruit, and your family won't get it. You have people online saying things, and this is us, man. This is us saying things like, just wash your hands with lemons, and you won't get the virus. So I would say to just stay as informed as you can, decipher any information that comes to you, ask questions, investigate. Just don't believe things that you hear from other people or things that you read on the internet, whether it's published in an article or said or written on social media. Question everything. Don't go outside. Quarantine your family. Stay in. Practice social distancing. Even amongst your family. I have family that I haven't seen, in the last week and a half, and this is family that I would normally see, every day or every other day. So keep your family safe. Stay in. If you only go out if you have to, and use this time to bond with your family, to bond with your children. So often, Queen, we see things like, if I had more hours in a day, I would homeschool my child. If I had more hours in a day, I would spend more quality time with my husband and more quality time with my children. Well, use this time to bond with your loved ones, to bond with your husband, to bond with your wife, to bond with your children. Some time that we wouldn't ordinarily have if we were in the hustle and bustle of 9-to-5 jobs. Take some time out for yourself. Take some time out for yourself. A lot of us are stressed. Maybe learn how to meditate, get into yoga, find your center, recenter yourself during this time. Queen, I'm getting emotional.
That's amazing. I mean, that's exactly what the people need. We need some good spaces. We need to hear some good stuff at this point. Because it's getting serious out here. I just read over 100,000 cases. These are numbers and records that we don't want to break.
No.
We should not be trendsetters here. This is terrible.
It is.
We are living in something that is unbelievable. So we got to check into our spirituality.
Absolutely. I mean, Queen, I couldn't agree with you more. Like you said, we have to hit the reset button.
Yeah,
and Queen, there are so many people. I'm getting messages from folks. Doc, what do I do? I'm in the house. I'm bored. I said, wow. So the only thing you knew was to get up and work for somebody. That's the only thing you knew. Now that you have all of this time on your hand, you're saying, I'm bored. What am I doing? I'm used to doing. So I said, read. Pick up a book. Read, take an online course, educate yourself about something, find a hobby, figure out self. What do you like? What don't you like? So yeah, Queen, I agree. It's time to hit the reset button and get back to the basics.
Amazing. G.
Thank you so much for sharing all of your insights and your experiences with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you guys, you having me on the show. And I look forward to future discussions.
Yeah, so if you are listening, make sure that you are checking out the Rona Report and all the Black Box Radio has to offer by visiting blackboxradio.com. That's BLAKBOXXRADIO. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Black Box Radio.
Talk to me out. We appreciate having you. We really do. And your insight. And we want to say be safe, take care of yourself during this time. Keep your mind right, and stay in touch, definitely.
Absolutely, Queen. And likewise, you do the same, brother. You do the same. Stay safe. Keep your family safe. Keep yourself safe. And like you said, Queen, keep your mind right.
Yes, sir.
Keep your mind right.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the Rona Report, 3/27/20. We had Dr. Maat, and we are Black Box Radio, and we're out. Peace.